Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode 52, the 1-year anniversary of the Late Night Vision Show. Before I go on, I want to bring in my good hunting buddy, my co-host, my friend Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel. And, hey, I think you're known just as much from the Late Night Vision Show. So, Hans, come on in.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So we got kind of tickled before the show because Jason messed up the intro. Was about to call it the wrong name of the show.
Just like halfway in, I was like, "What? Wait a minute! What am I even saying?"
This is not a one-take show. So yeah, 52 episodes. I've never messed up an intro before, but yeah, man, this is a very special show, obviously for us. I hope the listeners enjoyed as well, because it's been a long journey for the past 52 weeks. I've been kind of the person that has been pushing the show sometimes.
That's true.
And
yeah,
Jason,
I want to talk about your pushing for just a second here, because this is an important thing, folks. It is the 52nd show, but it is exactly 1 year. So, I'm sure at some point we'll just have to go to 100 shows, maybe not to 50, to 104. But here's the deal. We have not missed a single week of producing this show in a full year. No doubt that is all because of Hans. I would have taken off Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, normal holidays that everybody else in the world takes off, but Hans wouldn't let us do that. And it has been amazing that we really, through Hans traveling for his work and vacations, all the different things we've done that we've managed, and nobody's been sick. I'm kind of sick this week, but good enough to do the show. So that's pretty crazy. 52 weeks in a row. Yeah,
it really is. And some of those weeks we probably should have taken off, and we didn't, but that's okay. But I give Jason a hard time, and there's a couple funny things that have happened in the last year, and at some point we probably need to do a bloopers show just for YouTube. But there's probably a few weeks that we probably should have taken off, but I really love doing the show. I love interacting with the people, and you do as well. I still get people comment, hey, Hans, I love you and Justin's show.
Oh, wow. Yeah, since you don't even know my name on whatever episode that was on.
Yeah, accidentally, for some reason, called him Justin.
Gosh, this guy.
And, we obviously the popularity of the Wives Trivia Show has continued on.
Oh, no, don't say that, because if they listen to this, then they're going to hear it.
They're going to want to do it again.
Every week, my wife is like, you'll be saying, Hans and I are talking about what we're going to talk about. And she's like coming in there, butting into our phone conversation. Hey, Crystal and I can come back on the show, Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
But to celebrate episode 52, which I called Studio North has been closed down for the summer.
Studio North,
which is the barn has been closed down. It's way too hot out there to do episodes, so I have taken over a brand new studio. Very excited about it. It actually is a closet, but it's a big closet. It was my wife is going to kill me. It's, I guess, what we called it the sewing room, and has shelves and desks and everything. But my wife doesn't really sew. Ooh. So, and that's not a bad thing. I wouldn't know the first thing about that either. But we had a sewing machine sitting here for the last 10 years that's been in a box. And no, she actually used to not screen print, but do some T-shirt work and stuff in here. She makes T-shirts. And so I convinced her and I just basically begged to let me back in the house to start recording the podcast. But it actually turned out to be a great office. So this is what I'm calling Studio South.
South.
And we're here for the summer, and hopefully from now on, and also the Hans ETX corporate office. So it kind of doubles, and I'm going to write it off for tax reasons. So it all works out.
Folks, that's really what this all boils down to, is taxes. Yeah, I know how that works. Well, so, I tell you, I think Hans is right. We've there are probably some weeks we should have taken off, and I'll say this, that Hans has been a driving force for this show. the weeks that I haven't felt like doing it or couldn't come up with a topic, Hans comes up with something and says, yeah, this is, and I'm like, man, that turned out really well. But I can say this, do not expect next year at this time for us to be at 104 shows, because I think there's going to be some time in the next 52 weeks that we're going to have to take a week off. But yeah,
he said that 52 weeks ago when we were planning the show.
I tried.
But no, Jason, he's been a great person to work with. I mean, and you add more than anybody to this show. Not only was it your idea to get the show up and running, but man, really just thinking about over the last 52 weeks, all of the content that we put together. And I know, and I talk to people that listen to the show all the time, and they appreciate the topics, the content that we put in, the work. But it is a lot of work, to produce these shows on a weekly basis. We do it for a lot of different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because we want to be able to talk with people about night vision. It's something that you and I are both passionate about. You've been doing this a very long time, and there's I speak with people every day that are just so confused, and they're getting into night vision or thermal for the first time, and they just don't even know where to start. And It's really just so many people comment and say, that this show is something they can listen to, and they can actually understand what's being said and get into thermal and night vision and have a better understanding moving forward as they are either out in the field hunting, hog hunting, or coyote hunting, or at the same time trying to decide on what type of optic or scope that they want to purchase.
Yeah, that's something I know that we both hear. We see it in the comments on YouTube and on emails and things that we get, and guys that I talk to on the phone, is they say, hey, y'all break it down in such a way that I can understand it, and that you don't make it super complicated, you don't use a bunch of jargon and lingo that I don't understand. And I say that's very simple for Hans and I to do, because we don't know any other way to do it. So we're simpletons, so it's easy for us to talk on a basic term, because that's the way we just normally talk. So it's not like don't worry, we're not breaking it down for you. We're just being us. But no, we're glad to. And I say this, I tell guys this on the phone when I'm talking to them about scopes. I greatly sympathize with a consumer who wants to buy a scope, a guy who says, man, I want to buy one, but I can't go look through them. Most people do not have the luxury of being able to go out and line up 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 scopes side by side and look at them all and see the way that they look at night in different conditions. And I understand that. And I have guys say, well, if I was just down there where you are and I had gun shops around and scope stores that had them, I'm like, that doesn't help either. Because taking a scope, Hans and I talk about this, just like at SHOT Show, in these conventions, I can give you a scope in the broad daylight in the middle of town, and it does you nothing. You need to see it at night in the middle of nowhere, looking out across the field in actual, real hunting conditions to get the feel for it. And so my point in saying all that is I sympathize with the average guy who doesn't have the access to these. And so Hans and I are blessed to be able to take these scopes, look at them, compare them all, and we just want to break that down for you. We want to make that so that you don't have to make this $500 purchase, or maybe a $5,000 purchase, or maybe a $9,000 purchase. Whatever it is, whatever you're looking at, it's a lot of money, and whether it is 500 or 5,000. And I just want you to be able to buy with confidence, knowing, hey, here's somebody who's looked at them all, and he's shooting me straight.
Yeah, and that's and I think that's where we get a lot of response. This show is growing like crazy. My goodness, there are so many people watching the show on YouTube, listening on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, whichever app service. But it's growing like crazy, and it's growing at a tremendous number, and we're very thankful of that. And kind of alluding to some of the stuff you're going to hear later in the show, I spoke with a gentleman today that is trying to decide on whether to buy the Trail XP50 Trail Pulsar right now, or wait till the Thermions come out. and we're sitting there weighing the options back and forth. And one of his concerns is it's brand new technology, or brand new, and I'm concerned about glitches and looking at the difference. And so we're going to be talking about making decisions on scopes moving forward, and with some of this new stuff coming out with the thermions, we're going to talk a little bit about that and people waiting to make the decision, concerns about that, and we really want to shed some light on what to expect, what to look for, and kind of ease some concerns about. I think a lot of it is nobody wants buyer's remorse when it comes to a thermal optic, which I tell people all the time, hey, this isn't a cheap purchase. You need to understand and be honest with yourself and figure out what your budget is, where you can buy something and it doesn't put you in a financial bind. Absolutely. And once you decide what that number is financially, then we can find an optic that we can put you in that you're going to be happy with, and it's going to give you a lot of enjoyment for a long time moving forward. So we're going to talk about that later in the show. But Jason,
I think you just summarized the whole thing. I don't think we have to talk about anything. That was that was perfect. No, I want to say a couple more things here about the show, and I know we're just rambling on, but I'm going to tell you something. If you've listened to us for 5 episodes or 52 episodes, you know that we like to ramble, and I think this is a special episode for us. And if y'all turn it off and don't listen, that's okay too. But
nobody's turned it off because they're waiting for us to tell who the winner of the giveaway is.
Oh, we can talk all we want then. We'll talk for another hour. This is going to be a 3-hour episode. No, but I just want to say, we do this a lot, but it's the truth. And Hans is going to agree with this. He's going to say, dittos, I agree. This show is nothing without y'all, because Hans and I can get in here every week and we can talk, and we talk all the time anyway. So we can just be talking to ourselves. Sure. But we do it because so many people listen, and so many people tell us that they like it and they enjoy it, and they give us that feedback, and we are glad to do it. We love to hear from you. This show would not be here without you, the listeners. We know that. We just really, really appreciate it. And I know that one thing we always ask you for, and we're probably going to just continue, but we're serious about it, is give us show suggestions. And there's sometimes we get great suggestions, but they're things that don't fit our format, or they're things that, really we don't know enough about to talk about, or, maybe it's a little outside of, but you know what? Keep throwing things at us. You throw enough stuff, eventually something's going to stick against the wall. Yep. And some of the great topics, some of the shows that we've done that turned out to be, had the most listens and the most views, were things that people, listeners said, hey, what about this? Or what about interviewing this person? What about interviewing that person? So, man, please keep on, because we're not doing this just to hear ourselves talk. We want to talk about things that you want to hear about. And if you have specific questions, maybe it's a single question. How does this work? What about this? Send us an email, give us a call, give us those questions, and then we can address them.
Yeah, so one topic that we're going to be doing soon, I hope, because it's going to be a fun topic, how to convince your spouse to allow you or talk your spouse into letting you buy a thermal scope.
Man.
And I have so much to say about that. I've had to have that conversation several times, and it's gotten easier every time, but I want I think this would be a good
That's
topic.
why Hans had to come work for me. This is the only way he was going to stay married.
Exactly. So, that's what we're going to be one of the topics very soon. But you know what? Let's get to the giveaway, man.
Yeah, let's talk another 15 minutes. They don't care about this. Nobody,
I'm ready to do this. So
nobody wants to win a Wraith.
I know that everybody listening right now is on pins and needles, because we are giving away, for the 1-year anniversary show, we're giving away the Sightmark Wraith. One of the hottest scopes to get right now. It's almost impossible to get it.
It's unavailable. We have one we've kept back just for this giveaway. We've been sitting on this thing since the first day they were released. So we've got a brand new unit.
So we had way more entries than Jason or I thought we were going to get, like 5 times more than the number that I thought we were going to get.
We made over and under bets, and it was way over, like 4 or 5 times over what either of us thought.
It was crazy. So I got to share this. I've got a buddy that listens every week, and you know who you are because he registered his 6-month-old or very under 1-year-old son. I think he's
goodness.
4 months, 5 months, as a first-time listener to the Late Night Vision Show podcast for the Sightmark Wraith. But he told me he did it. It was hilarious. And
That's great. Hey, start them young.
Start them young. Get them listening. So Jason has the full list.
I've got the list.
Generated from the and if you haven't checked it out, please go check out our website. Very proud of it. The latenightvision.show.com. That's where everybody entered to win the scope. Jason's got a full printout of the list of registered people that went online. I'm going to pick a number, and I'm going to use the Google random number picker.
I think it's called a random number generator. A random number picker. What is this?
I like that better. I actually just found out about this today. Jason told me about it. So I'm going to put in here the total number of people that entered. I'm going to hit the button, and I'm going to give a number. Jason has mixed up all of the people, all the numbers, have switched all the orders around in Excel. I have no idea how to do that, but he's smart about that kind of stuff. I'm going to pick a number, and it's going to correlate with somebody on his list. So,
all right,
you ready for a number?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Okay. All right. I'm pushing the generate button. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Do you need me to get instructions? Can you get that thing? Can you push that button?
I've got number 179.
179.
179.
All right, here we go. Ready? 100.
Yeah. Who is the lucky winner?
77, 78, 79. But he's got a great first name. Mr. Jason Ward from Texas. Jason Ward.
Jason Ward. I thought you were going to I thought you were going to say his first name was Hans.
He does look different. It can't be that good. Jason Ward, congratulations. Awesome. You just won a Sightmark Wraith HD. Wow. That's cool. Well, listen, Jason, if you're listening to this show, if you've heard this before, we're going to call you. So stick by your phone, and we'll be calling you and getting arrangements to get that thing shipped out. We're going to throw some probably some more swag in the box for you, get you some more stuff. But congratulations on that. And if you did not win and you want a Sightmark Wraith, you can go pre-order one. Get in line.
Well, I would tell you, this giveaway has been a huge success for us in the show, and we were glad to be able to reward a loyal listener. Jason Ward, thank you for listening. Thank you for submitting everybody on your registrations online. And y'all, we will be doing more giveaways, and it's going to be probably very similar to what the format that we did with people going online and registering online. We've talked about, we've thrown out ideas, doing a giveaway of possibly a Primos tripod trigger stick, which I think is a great idea. There's a lot of things that we, have in the works, but we will be doing more giveaways, and it's going to be geared around our loyal listeners. It's not going to be geared around building up social media numbers or anything like that. We want to thank you all out there, but congratulations, Jason Ward, and can I borrow your Wraith or send it to you?
I'm going to say this. There is probably the most amount of people at one time listening to this show that are disappointed. I mean, they're disappointed every week if they listen to us, but right now there's probably a lot of guys going, wah, 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 if we look at a graph of how long people listen, it's going to be going along, and right there, it's just going to tank. It's like, giveaway. These guys were done.
Well, I don't know Jason Ward, but congratulations. And it does say that he's didn't it say he was a loyal listener of the show?
Let's see what he says. Never misses an episode. Look at that.
Nice.
All right. It's what I like to hear.
Nice.
Good deal.
Okay.
Yep. Congratulations. Well, I'll tell you what. I want to mention a couple more things before we get into our topic, which is just going to be something short I want to talk about. One is that we've talked on the show a good bit about the Convergent Bullet HP, the electronic caller. We had Glenn Guess on. Glenn was talking to Hans and I and all the listeners about that unit. We were so convinced. We went out and bought them, used them, loved them. I became a dealer, started selling them. And I tell you what, they are a great, great product. Had great success with them. But Convergent just came out with a new product that I just want to briefly mention. We will be talking about it more on the show in future episodes, but it's called the Sidewinder. And this little unit right here, it is not made to take the place of the Convergent, full collar. But this is something that's small, it's lightweight, and it actually can attach to your rifle. If you got like a Picatinny rail, you can screw this in there, mount it to your rail, and then you've got the speaker here. You put your phone in the back of it, and you can clamp it down, and your phone plugs into it. So it is not Bluetooth. But this is the biggest deal. So you use the same Convergent app, plays all the sounds. I will tell you this for a fact. I have no idea what kind of speaker they put in this thing, but it is phenomenal. Yeah, it is. And I have guys all the time that say, should I buy one of these Convergents or can I just go to Walmart and buy $25? Let me tell you something. Yeah. You are paying for the speaker. And Glenn made a big deal about that, and he's exactly right. You may have success with a $25 Walmart speaker, but you won't have the same success that you're having with something that sounds this good. Yeah. It is phenomenal. Never heard a speaker this size like it in my life. Unbelievable.
It is. When I first turned it on, I was just blown away how powerful that little speaker is. But so there's some people that'll mount it on the rifle. There's some people. It's just handy to carry. Like for myself, I do a lot of walking when I'm hunting. I don't want to carry a bunch of stuff, so it's easy to fit in your back or your backpack or something that you're carrying. And I do like the size of it. And it doesn't seem, I'm sure the Bullet full collar is louder. It seems like it would have to be because it's bigger. But gosh, if it is, it's not much louder. No, this little thing has got some power.
It is not. It's a perfect size to throw in your bag. And if you're looking at YouTube, you can see the thing. It is phenomenal. They're $149. We have them available at Outdoor Legacy Gear. They just came in. We've got them on the shelf. It's outdoorlegacygear.com. You can just search for Convergent or Sidewinder. You'll find them there. Anyway, we have not even talked about them. I've had them in stock. Haven't really mentioned them to anybody. Hans and I have been goofing around with them. So anyway, we'll talk more about them, probably do a review of them on another show. But I just wanted to bring that up that it's something that we've got now. Yep. One more quick thing that I just want to say is in this 52 weeks, this year that we've been doing it, I know a year is not that long, but there's been, a lot of changes in the night vision and the thermal industry. And, I think it's, to be honest, they're mostly positive. I think that we're moving still in the right direction. I think we're seeing prices are staying pretty steady. Maybe coming down a little bit, but mostly steady. Think about this. 52 weeks ago, no one in the consumer market was talking about Envision.
That's true.
You could have said Envision and they're gone, who? They weren't hardly doing anything with consumers. I don't know if the Atlas was available a year ago or not. Probably had just come available, but nobody was talking about them. Now they're making all kinds of buzz because they're giving Trijicon, the top of the line Cadillac, giving them a run for their money. So that's pretty phenomenal. Pulsar is still doing their thing, coming out with tons of stuff.
Oh yeah.
We've now got I don't have one in front of me here, but the Axion, the smallest, lightweight, full handheld monocular. Yes, I know there's the Breach, but again, that's more helmet mounted. With a rechargeable battery, video recording, all that. There's just a lot. And you've got the Breach. The Breach is out. I think we're moving in the right direction in this thermal market, and I'm excited to see where the next 52 weeks go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things coming out still that we have to talk about. There's lot of scopes coming out, the Thermions, man, we get so many questions about them. And that kind of brings us to our topic is the people that might be concerned about either buying a scope that's out right now, that being like a Pulsar Trail, and buying something at full price, knowing that something else is coming out brand new. So you have people that are concerned about buying something that is a model that's been around for a while, and then there's concern about from people that buying something brand new like a Thermion, that it's going to come out and they're going to have regrets about buying it. There's going to be concerns about some of the things going on with it. There's some concern because nobody's had one out in the field to test it, but a lot of the dealers are asking people to go ahead and pre-buy them. So really, that's some of these concerns or things that we hear about every day. And we really just want to take a moment to kind of talk about that decision-making process.
Yeah, and I think another example, we don't have to just say Thermions and Trails. We can say the Sightmark Wraith. I mean, there's guys who bought the Sightmark Photon, and the next thing they know, you got the Sightmark Wraith. And now it sounds to me like there's going to be a Wraith 4K that's going to be coming out later this year. We don't know anything about it. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to speculate. It's either going to come out probably fourth quarter of this year, or maybe come out in January of 2020. Not for sure on that. It's going to be.
Are you breaking news on the show?
No. It's been rumored, and I've seen enough, little snippets that have been said publicly by Sightmark. I've been told some things about it, but they've said they've acknowledged that it exists, or it's going to exist. So that's all I'm willing to say. But it's going to be more expensive. There's going to be, the point I'm making is just what Hans said. There's always something new right around the corner. And I know that I was responding to a comment on YouTube about this a couple nights ago, and the guy had a legitimate concern. And I get this every day on the phone or via emails, and I understand it. And it is, hey, I do not want to buy this and tomorrow it'd be outdated. And I don't want to buy this and tomorrow the price goes down. And I don't want to buy this and something better comes out next week. Folks, this is the best way that I can say this. It is technology, and technology is always changing. And and I told this guy, if he's listening to this, then he knows exactly. I'm probably going verbatim what I told him on a YouTube comment. But if you use that same mentality of, well, I can't buy it because something might change, then you'd still be using a bag phone or a flip phone, and you wouldn't own a computer. You'd never own a tablet computer. You wouldn't buy a new truck. You wouldn't buy a new rifle because there's always going to be a new caliber come out. They're going to have the stock in a different color. Everything we buy is changing. It's always changing. That's the only way that companies can stay in business, is to change it, to improve it. Hey, you bought the Bullet HP 2 weeks ago. Now they've got the Sidewinder and it's small. That's just the way that it is. And I understand. The next comment is, yeah, but this is $500 or this is $5,000. I understand that. But did you buy a truck? I mean, even if you bought your truck used and it cost, $15,000 or 20 or 30 or 50 or whatever, good and well that next year they're going to change the body style. They're going to change the interior. They're going to come out with new colors. It's just the way that it is. And these scopes are no different. I mean, and I know we've made these comments kind of before. It is a lot of money, whether it's, again, I keep saying it's 500 or 5,000. It's a lot of money, and I get that, but so is bass fishing, and so is golf. And you go buy a bass boat, and guess what? Next year they got a bigger motor with a different cowling, and it's, looks better, and it's just the way that it is. Now, I want to be clear, I do sympathize. And before, if you're listening to this right now, you're saying, this guy is in the thermal business. He wants to sell me a scope. That's all it's about. Hang on. I'm going to reverse course on you here. So the next question is, okay, so you've convinced me I'm going to buy today, but what do I do when it's out of date tomorrow? It's only out of date if you believe it's out of date. That's how marketing works. People ask me, you know, is this scope still going to work in 2 or 3 years? Well, sure. I mean, unless it breaks, it should work indefinitely. These things should last a very, very long time, and it's going to be just as good as the day that you bought it. And the only reason that you would want to get something new is if you have, you know, listened to marketing, if you've listened to advertising and you believe that something is better and you need it, because otherwise that scope's still working. And yeah, I'm a thermal dealer, and yeah, I want to sell thermal, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you that, you know, your 5-year-old thermal today that you know you paid $8,000 for, now you can replace for $1,900. I'm not going to tell you need to buy another scope. Can you hunt coyotes with it? Can you shoot hogs? Go for it. Yeah. It's as good as long as you're happy with it. And That's right. And so again, the point that I'm making is, and I've talked a long time, I'll let Hans jump in here, is you can't have this paralysis forever because you'll never buy anything. Because I guarantee you in 10 years from now, when Hans and I have got our, you know, grandkids on here, they're still going to be talking about what's new on thermal and what's coming out. Maybe there'll be some new technology, something beyond thermal. It's going to happen. And,
it's going to happen.
You know, anyway, that's
but
my
I will tell you
it.
this. And I know we're kind of singling out Pulsar, but that's the biggest brand right now that's got a new scope being released. But if you buy a brand new trail, that person that buys a brand new Thermion, they're not going to be able to kill more hogs or coyotes than you. It's not gonna make them any difference. It's just going to look different. It's like, do you like the new body style or the old body style? But let me ask you a question. I think there's a large number of people that are holding off buying anything right now because they think when the Thermions come out that there's going to be a big price drop in the trails. What do you say to those people?
Man, put me on the spot. Here's what I expect to happen. Now, boy, I do not.
I'll tell you my thoughts on it.
Okay, all right. That'll give me a second to get my thoughts and be careful what I say. So go ahead.
I've been getting those questions, and these are only my observations. I don't know anything. This isn't based on anything I've heard. Based on the inventory right now and what the dealers seem to be getting, I am concerned about people that are waiting for the Thermions to come out only because they want to buy the trail at a discounted price. I don't think there's going to be a lot of inventory out there to be able to find when the Thermions come out to get a big discount. I just don't think it's going to be there. I don't think the inventory is going to be there. And, that's my 2 cents on it. And, that's kind of what I think about the whole thing.
I'm going to answer, and I'm trying to find a way to nicely say a couple of things that I'd like to say. And so I'm trying to be very careful here. I agree with that. I think that's been the consensus from day one. I'll tell you this, that is always a concern of any stocking dealer of really any product, but especially thermals because they're very expensive and it's, the margins are not large on them. So what happens when I've got $250,000 of thermals sitting here on the shelf, and guess what? Tomorrow the new models finally show up. And who wants the old models now? What do I do with these? Because it's not like we're doubling our money on them. So, you can't sell these things at a huge discount because you don't have that kind of money to discount them. It's not an option. So that was my question in January at the SHOT Show was, what's going to happen here? I mean, and so Pulsar assured us, they said, look, we cannot meet the demand in production for the trails right now. We can't do it. So you're not going to have all that inventory piled up. I mean, even today, it is, what is this? It's basically May by the time this thing comes out. I guess that's May. I don't even know what day it is. We are very, very soon with the Thermions coming out. And as of today, I think I've got one trail on the shelf. One, and every time we get something in, it's sold. There's either somebody waiting on it or, I got several scopes in on Thursday, Friday. They're already sold, all but one. And so I agree with you. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of scopes sitting around out there. What I do believe is I believe that there are some dealers who might have, 2 or 3, 4 scopes, and they're going to panic, and those guys might actually discount those scopes. I don't think it's going to be wise to make huge discounts on them. I have people calling me that are buying trails saying, I've got to rush this and buy it now because I don't want the Thermion.
Right.
And so, it's not like people are looking at these trails saying, oh my gosh, this is old news. It's not. They're a tried and true scope. They've been around 2 years, and a lot of people want that. And a lot of people like that design. Maybe they're not interested in the traditional, scope design. And so people are still seeking these out. So the question is, will they be discounted? I think it's going to be hit and miss. I think there may be maybe some guys that have a few scopes that they're looking to get out of. If you say, is Outdoor Legacy, you're going to sell every single scope at the minimum advertised price all the way through. I'm not going to go on swear on that, but I will say that is my plan right now. Absolutely. Unless something happens and they ship us 75 scopes in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way things are going, it doesn't look like that way. But, I just want to, address the people that are wondering, because I've gotten that question a bunch. What do we think about what's going to happen with the Pulsar trails? The thermal scopes hold their value very, very well. And
crazy really.
Crazy well.
Yeah.
And if there is a discount, if people out there are waiting and just for a discount, I promise you there is not going to be a deep discount, not as much as you think it's going to be. So, and like I said, the popularity, people still want those trails. As soon as they come in, they're gone.
Well,
they're gone before a lot of times before we even get them. So
yeah, the other thing is that when you talk about that discount, it's going to be. It would only be on what's sitting in stock on somebody's shelf. And as of today, there's almost no trails in this country sitting on the shelf. I mean, I'm talking a handful. Very, very few dealers have trails because the demand is so high. So it's not like there's 10,000 of these scopes sitting out there that are going to be available to disc. You see what I'm saying? Because once the trails are gone, they're going to be gone. And so anyway. Hey, who knows? We could have egg on our face, and we may be selling these things for 10 cents on the dollar. But if it is, that means that Jason's getting out of the thermal business after all these years.
I don't anticipate the times the Thermions come out that dealers are going to be sitting on dozens of trail scopes or hundreds of trail scopes. If what I'm telling people, if you want a scope, whether it be the trail or the Thermion, get on a list right now. Yep. Don't hesitate. You need to get on the list. The sooner you get on the list, the sooner you're going to get your scope. And like I said, the value of the scope holds very true to what you actually pay for it. The value of them are, like I said, they stay very true to the selling price. So I know we kind of got off on that tangent, but again, that's a question that's been coming up a lot, been asked a lot, and I think we need to kind of clear the air in regards to that transition from the trail to the Thermion.
I want to close out real quick on this topic of, when is a good time to buy and all that. And again, folks, I know it just sounds like a thermal dealer telling people to go buy scopes, but, we do this show every week. And if you have listened very much at all, then if you're a long-time listener, Hans and I are not shoving stuff down your throat. We are as honest as the day is long about this. And so I want to say, I understand that when you're looking at the price and you say, I just don't know if I can buy now. If you can't afford to buy a thermal scope or a night vision scope, don't buy one. I am not here to talk somebody into spending money that they shouldn't spend. But what I would say is you decide on what your budget is. And Hans kind of alluded to this early in the show. Decide on what your budget is and how much you need and want one. And when those two things intersect, when you find that of, okay, this is what I want and this is what I'm willing to pay, and you can find something that meets that, that's what you buy. Don't convince yourself to go spend $3,000 more than you want to spend. You don't need to buy this thing and not be able to sleep for 2 weeks. I mean, I don't want. I want you to enjoy it. This is a hobby. This is something fun, and so you spend what you're comfortable with, and that's why. And again, Hans said it. Set your budget. And then say, this is what I want to spend. What's the best that I can get for that budget? And there's times that I tell people, your budget is here, and your want and your need list is here, and they don't match. And so my advice is to either lower one or raise the other. And if that means you got to stop and you got to go save money for another 6 months, do it. I mean, that's fine. But, if it means you've got to lower your expectations, that's fine. But, there's a lot out there now with all the way from $1,900 to the sky's the limit, I guess, $9,000, $10,000. There's a lot out there and more options than there ever has been. So anyway, that's I'm going to end on that.
Yep. And with the new Thermions coming out, we've got a lot to talk about, a lot more options coming out for those dealers. But hey, thank y'all for joining us this week. I know Jason's probably going to say goodbye too on the 1 year anniversary of the show, but I imagine here very soon, probably on next week's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Axion XM30. Now, Jason, as you remember, last week we talked about the Key XM30, and the next review video is going to be about the regular. A guy said the keyless XM30.
I like that. The keyless.
The keyless XM30. Yeah. And so we'll be reviewing that one.
Yeah, and I do. I'm excited about that because I've got more to say. I've used them for another week. I've been using the XM30 nonstop since the last show, and I've got some more information. Y'all need to tune in because I am going to admit that I was wrong about something, and so my wife will want to hear that episode because she'll want to mark that down as the second time ever that I've been wrong about something. But no, listen next week. We're going to give you some more info on the Axions, and I really think it's going to be a good show because I want to address some concerns and some things I've been hearing, people asking questions. So tune in next week.
Well, I will tell you that the Axions are completely mud proof because I dropped mine into the biggest, wettest, nastiest mud hole that anybody could find, and it took me forever to clean it, and I had to get a toothbrush out. But thank y'all for joining us this week. Hey, go check us out you can find the Late Night Vision Show. Please go to the website, thelatenightVisionShow.com. You can find all of our past episodes there. As always, please go to the YouTube channel. A lot of people, Jason, are watching on YouTube and subscribing, and thank you for that. So go subscribe on our YouTube channel, on Instagram and on Facebook, The Late Night Vision Show. You can find Jason if you're interested in talking with Jason about some pre-buying options and as far as night vision and thermal. Please call Jason at 877-350-1818, or you can find all of his stuff on the website, OutdoorLegacyGear.com. You can find Outdoor Legacy Gear on YouTube, and as well as on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. It's Hans ETX, which stands for Hans East Texas. East Texas is not my last name; it's just where I live. But you can find me there. I put out videos every week, review videos, hunting videos, and so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And you can find me on Instagram at Hans ETX. Don't have time for Facebook. I can only manage so much. So I like taking pictures. So Instagram kind of works out better for me. But hey, we'll be back very soon next week. Episode 53, we'll be probably reviewing, unless something important or breaking comes out in between now and then, we'll be reviewing the Axion XM30. Thank you all for joining us this week. Y'all keep making them bacon pancakes.
All right. Stay safe in the field, y'all.